Last time we talked, you shared two big concerns for the beginning of the school year. The first one was that getting kids engaged virtually was really hard in the spring, and you were concerned about that again. The second was social distancing and also trying to do informal assessment in class. You said you typically use monitoring pathways throughout the classroom and you read over the students' shoulders as they're writing, which isn't really practical with social distancing. So I'm going to show you my favorite app, which is Pear. It's great for in-class engagement, but it's also great for virtual, whether it's synchronous or asynchronous. So we start by opening up Pear by going to the Pear add-on and hitting Present with Pear. This will pull up the join code, which students actually follow on their own devices, and that can be done whether they're in class or at home. You can also pull up the teacher dashboard, which opens in a separate device or a separate window. There's lots of different question types, including short answer. You can see students writing in real time. You can also give students feedback immediately, even if they're at home. There's also draggable slides. Here's the student view, and you can view the work in real time. The same thing in a drawing slide. You can have parts to be labeled, and then in the student view, they can write, they can draw, they can mark up, they can annotate, explicate, and you can see what they're doing in real time. When you show student responses, you'll notice that on the teacher dashboard, you can see the names, but on the projector view, that it is anonymous. This slide is great for voting or for yes/no questions. The students can move the dots around as many times as you have the question open. There's also student pace mode, so the students can go back and forth through slides and do the work while you are able to monitor and assess progress from your device. One of the best things about Pear is when you end a session. So at the end of class, you end your session, you give it a name, and then you can publish what are called takeaways. They're great. It puts a copy of the slide deck with the students' responses in their Google Drive for them. So I took your poetry lesson and I started it in a Pear. We can finish it if you do want to use this. So here's your poetry lesson. And to get started with Pear, the first thing we do is we go to the add-ons menu and choose Get Add-ons. Pear the very first one up there. Once you're back in your deck, the Pear toolbar. There's lots of different templates that you can choose from, lots of different question types, including some that are specific for the beginning of class, and even some that are specific to ELA with graphic organizers. To make this slide an interactive slide, open the Pear menu and I'll choose a text response. You can see it added that gray bar on the bottom. This slide already has that gray bar, so it's already an interactive. And this slide and the next few don't actually need interactives. For the practice slide, we're going to make it a drawing slide so the students can annotate straight onto the screen. When it's time to present, you can actually choose from synchronous or asynchronous. This is a great new feature for virtual learning. It opens up again with the code. And on my student view right here, you can see that it opens up with an emotional check-in. Now onto explicating poetry. Here's the student view, and you can see that the students can type their text response, and you can see on your teacher dashboard exactly what's going on. On the dot slide, you can have the students move their dots back and forth on whether they agree or disagree with the statements. The poetry step slide is not interactive. And one of the things you can do for this slide is to actually record your voice onto the slide using Pear. And being able to see your students annotate the text in real time on their device, and you're able to see it on your screen as they're working. So you can check in and give them feedback right away. When it's time for students to create their own poems, you can be a part of your students' writing process while they're actually writing their poems. So let me know if you want to use Pear and we will finish setting this up, and I will definitely be in class the first time you use it.